right, everybody, we are back. Another episode of the Sports Clash. I'm Rich Orleo. This is Chris Carey. Chris, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, man. Week before Christmas, couldn't be happier. 'Tis the season, right? How are you?
Tis the season. I'm doing well. I finally had a Sunday where I wasn't traveling. I feel like I've been running around every weekend. I got to sit down this morning, had a nice, breakfast in my house, playing with my kid. Just checking bets, looked at the board, felt great, placed like 8 different bets, felt really good about it, sat in my chair, was pumped about the Jets, thought maybe they could make some noise against a very injured Dolphins team. I thought at least they could keep it close with an 8.5 spread on a team that doesn't have their best player, an MVP candidate, along with very key pieces on the offensive line and in the secondary. Didn't matter. Embarrassing. By 3 o'clock, I was no longer having fun. So that was that. So I just kind of scrapped it. You have those days. It was a weird Sunday. I mean, and the Thursday game set the tone. And from the
Ew.
I after that game, I should have just not I should have stayed away from the entire week because when that game went over the way it did, and the Raiders put up 63 points, like I you can't you that doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. I know the Chargers are bad, but 63 points for one of the worst what was the one of the worst offenses in the NFL with Aiden
Right.
O'Connell. Um they had injuries too, and it just didn't matter. Josh Jacobs was out, didn't matter. Doesn't matter. Nothing matters. I can't make sense of anything right now. And yeah, it's where my mind's at when I'm watching some football.
Wow. I want pre-3 o'clock Rich back. Oh man. At least you had a good morning with the family and everything. And you know
Yes.
what? It's the same old Jets. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. The Thursday game, you're right, set the tone. I pretty much was like, yeah, I'm giving up on football now. I'm done. Football is just boring to me now. It doesn't make any sense, like you said. It was 21 nothing, the Raiders with the rookie quarterback within like yeah, a heartbeat. And for some reason, the Chargers thought it was a great idea to start a D2 quarterback who was like fourth on the depth chart. Don't know what was happening there, but yeah, it didn't make sense. I think I had a much better day than you today, though, in
Yeah.
terms of betting. I doubled my money in my FanDuel account and had some pretty good picks for the pod. So went pretty well. I went with the Dolphins.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't blame you whatsoever. And my buddy, who's a big Dolphins fan, has continuously berated the Dolphins all year. My buddy Ryan, who look, the Dolphins, they're about as sad of a franchise as the Jets historically. Haven't accomplished much. There's not really a ton of difference there, but with
Outside of
Mike Mc
1972.
yeah, I mean the Jets were 69, Dolphins were 72, and they haven't done shit since. So they're
Been a while. Been a
both
while.
been a while. Um, but yeah, I mean, look, let's just get this out of the way because I
Let's
hate
do
it.
it.
I just hate it. Dolphins 30, Jets nothing. Um, Look, he was telling me he put a substantial amount of money on Jets money line. With my buddy Ryan, and we even had a little friendly bet where I was going to have to say some things about him, some nice things about him on the podcast if the Jets won,
Oh, thank
which
God you
I
didn't
was
have
so
to.
yeah. So now I can shit on him because he's just doing that. He in his mind he's just what every fan does. They berate their team to kind of level set, not get too excited. It's what fans
Make
of bad
themselves feel
teams do.
better as an individual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. He had an emotional hedge bet in, it was a substantial one, but I was like, all right, you do you. But I get they have injuries. I thought it was gonna be close. I wasn't taking Jets money line. I didn't think they were gonna win the game, but 8.5, considering the long list of injuries for the Dolphins, even aside from Tyreek Hill, who was an MVP candidate, up against the Jets secondary, which has been one of the best in the league all year. The Jets defense has been one of the best in the league all year. You did have Achan, you had Mostert and Tua, but shouldn't have been this much of a blowout. But it was because the Jets' offense again just can't do anything, and I did it again. I did it again. I got suckered in by one decent week by Zach Wilson, and even like even when I talked to my father, I'm like, he's got to do it consistently. I want to see it again. I want to see it again. But to get suckered in enough to make them a pick, and it was dead wrong. And now I can finally just cut the cord. I should have done it weeks ago. I partially done it like 4 times, but then I kept just getting like pulled back in. Now it's over officially. They're out. Um, just keep losing. I think you have to just get rid of everyone. I don't. I mean, you can't. You can you bring Hackett back at this point? This is one of the worst offenses I've ever seen. And to follow
You're
that
going
up,
to.
yeah, yeah, they're going to because it's all you're going to run it back with Aaron Rodgers, and you know what? It's going to be bad, and I have no hopes anymore. No hopes for next season or ever with the Jets. I've
You know
given up.
what? Yeah, I honestly, I'm above. I'm along the mindset of clean house, except for the defense. I mean, you don't want to get rid of that. It's a historic defense, but yeah, this is just the tipping point where Dolphins go up. They go up at the half. What was it, 24-0 at the half? Team just gives up. It is what it is. You're eliminated, and it happens. It's what happened to the Chargers on Thursday. They literally just gave up. They stopped believing, and when you stop believing, there is no Santa Claus, and good things don't happen,
You have
right?
to listen to
So
Journey. You have to
yeah,
listen to
you
Journey.
got it. You can't stop believing. Or wait, don't stop
I'm sorry.
believing. Right.
You got it.
But anyhow, yeah, I'm glad that you're able to move on. I'm glad that you're able to go ahead and focus on basketball. One good thing, though, I'll give you a shout out. You had the bye in fantasy football. I'm about to be eliminated in the league that I'm the commissioner in, which is
Uh,
the worst because then you just have to pay out the money, right?
yeah, yeah.
So hate when that happens. But big shout out to you because you're number two in our league that we pretty much care about the most, and you didn't have to deal with this week,
Well,
right?
yeah,
So
but I barely
on to the
survived the
next
bye.
one.
I barely survived this bye week. I lost Herbert. I already had
Right.
Pacheco out. Nico Collins was out. Then
Olave.
I also lost Olave. Jamar Chase separated shoulder. Nico Collins hurt, and Jaden Reed, who had a nice week. And I was like, all right, at least I got some wide receiver depth. Hurt his toe on like one of the last plays of the game.
Collins will be back. Collins will be back next week. I don't know
I
about the other
I
ones.
hope so. And I mean, even if he's back, Case Keenum, I don't know if
Ew.
Stroud's
Right?
back. So I'm very concerned. But I did earn the bye,
Yeah.
thankfully, and
Yeah.
these last 2 weeks were awful, but we'll see.
It's so
I need
valuable.
yeah, yeah. I need Chase to play. I need Olave to play, or Collins. Yeah, at least two of those three guys. I would like Pacheco back, although McKinnon has been fine. I did pick him up, and he puts up points. So
You picked him up last matchup against me,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
garbage game where I was
yeah,
just playing for pride.
yeah, yeah. Which you
This
won,
is the
but
first year I'm not going to make any money on fantasy football, though. I'm a little beside myself, but
yeah, you usually do
thankfully
pretty
my
well.
betting record is okay.
Yeah, it's good. Your record now for the pod is impressive. It's a good look for the pod. I think you might have clinched our little competition here at this point because you're now 26-19, and I went 0 and
So
3
mad I
this
didn't
week.
take the Bucks today.
Yeah, you tailed me on the Falcons.
I did. I've been trying to
Let's
ride your coattails for a long, long time. I don't know if you've realized that or not, but
Mhm.
that's pretty much what I do.
I
I saw the Atlanta Carolina spread come across when you sent me your picks, and I was like, ooh, ooh, I can't take the Bucks and the Saints again for a second week.
yeah,
So went with the Falcons.
yeah. Which look, let's move on because I'm done with the Jets. The Dolphins are
Not
really
much to
good.
talk about in this game, though. So
Dolphins
yeah,
are
let's get it
yeah,
out of the way.
Dolphins are really good. They're getting healthy. They're going to be fine.
Right. As long as
Um,
Tyreek's back, they're going to be clicking.
yeah, they'll be fine. The loss for both of us that we just mentioned: Panthers 9, Falcons 7. Wow.
Huge.
I mean, I don't really know what to say about the Falcons. They've pissed me off all year. It was a wet day, but Bijan had one fumble and then they benched him. Arthur Smith benched him. And what did you get for that? You got a big fat loss to the worst team in the league. Congrats. Tyler Algier didn't do shit. Desmond Ritter sucks. Your defense blew it against Bryce Young. Just atrocious. Chuba Hubbard ran all over you. I don't I don't know. They're 6-8. They're pretty much done now in that division with the Bucks winning and the Saints winning. So,
Yeah. Yeah, they're done. I would say there's what 3 weeks left. This is pretty embarrassing, Atlanta. This is, in a way, I'd say it's more embarrassing than what happened on Thursday night. At least the Chargers were able to score 21 points. This is gross, and this is your own doing, Arthur Smith. Like you said, benching Bijan, you put your best player on the bench voluntarily. In what world? What is it? When does that make sense? I guess you think you can do it against the worst team in the league, but if you do it, you better win, and you didn't. So I was like, this is a can't lose kind of situation. This is the easiest money I'm gonna ever make betting on the Atlanta Falcons
yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
I thought that, if I was to lean the Buccaneers, I was like, okay, I'm putting my hopes and dreams in the lap of Baker Mayfield. I don't know if I trust that, but boy howdy if I do not want the Atlanta Falcons in charge of anything in my life here, because this is just a terrible, absolutely terrible team. I mean, from the top down, 6 to 8, 6 and 8 is going to get you eliminated from this division, and you don't have necessarily the easiest walk into the playoffs. This was supposed to be a must win. So
It
I
was.
don't know. I don't know if you end up with a new coach next season. I think you should. But you know what? It's the same thing with Atlanta. For my entire life since Michael Vick, Atlanta has been all hype, and they've gotten to a point where they just can't get over the hump. And maybe it was Matt Ryan for so long, who knows? But it just seems like it's another franchise where ownership gets in the way.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's a huge market, and it's the Southern football, like the Atlanta
It's a huge
Falcons. Like, you
market.
should be
Yeah.
the cream of the crop. Honestly, you should be the Alabama of the NFL. But yeah, they can't figure it out, and they always have stars. They always have stars, and
Yeah.
they just can't figure it out. So, I mean, this is just disgusting. Bryce Young is not a good quarterback. He threw for under 200 yards. Chuba Hubbard was the best player in this game, which is telling you everything that you need to know.
Mm.
So, outside of that, not much to say with this one. Just a
It's
bad beat.
Yeah, it's like Arthur Smith just looks for a reason to give Tyler Algier the ball instead of Bijan, and it was a rainy day. He lost a fumble and then didn't see the ball again. And guess what? You didn't score again, and you didn't do anything. And the only reason you
I wanna
scored the
know whose decision in that room was it to draft Bijan Robinson in the first round, because it doesn't seem like it was Arthur
doesn't seem
Smith's.
like Arthur Smith wanted him. He
Right.
was set with Tyler Algier and Cordell Patterson in
Oh,
there.
he was pumped about that going into the season.
Yeah, you got to get rid of that guy. I don't know. They're not mathematically out of it. They're, the Bucks and Saints are 7-7, but at this point, you lost your game against the Panthers that you had to win to keep pace. Bucks have won 3 in a row. I think they're dead. So
I will say Bijan Robinson is a nice possible second rounder next year. We'll see. The
yeah,
usage here is improper, compared to the talent. So,
hmm
those are the guys that I look for next year,
yeah,
right? To
yeah.
fall to the second round, maybe.
Little post
Travis
hype.
Etienne types.
Yes, yes. And the talent's there, and he's done it all year. But he's not going to be able to do anything with 7 carries. I get it. He fumbled. It was raining. He's a rookie. You want to send a message for a series? Fine. Get him out there. Enough said.
Well, don't send a message while you're still in the thick of the playoff
Yeah, you're
hunt, and
trying to make.
you
Yeah.
should scoreboard watch and see that
Give
the
me a
people
break.
that you're tied with are also winning, so you can't afford to do things like that.
Give me a break. 31 carries, only 7 to Bijan. Get out of here.
I've
Enough
never
with
been a
this.
fan of the benching after a fumble. If anything, I think it motivates a running back. I remember as a kid watching Tiki Barber get benched after fumbling and being like, "What the hell are you doing?" Because Tiki Barber was one of the stars of that Giants team. And of course, after that, Tiki Barber used to hold the ball like this, like
Yeah,
just
I
to like
remember
make
that.
a
Yeah.
point or
Yeah.
whatever. But I just remember that being like, what, why are you going to take him out of the game just because he dropped it? It was an accident.
Yeah. I think talent will win out there. Ideally,
Yeah.
they get a coach in that knows how to use their stars. Because Drake London is wasting away there too. He's a really talented receiver.
Dude,
So
he's so good. He's
yeah,
just he's just slow, but he's big and he high points the ball. I like him.
yeah.
Calvin Johnson wasn't fast.
No,
Gonna throw that out there.
it's not all speed.
Yeah,
We said, the Bucks also won, and so the Saints, and you called this one. Saints 24, Giants 6. I I was on the Giants side. I was sucked into the Tommy Cutlets hype. I also don't like Derek Carr. I don't think he's very good, but
right,
the Giants have been a bad team all year,
right.
and Tommy DeVito's true colors showed, and the hype was real this week. It was just everywhere, social media. Jimmy Fallon's talking about the guy like
When
he's
your man throws a bomb but still is with his mom, that's DeVito. When he has quite the arm and wolfs down chicken farm, that's DeVito.
and you gotta get sucked into that stuff sometimes, and
New York folk hero. He was inducted into the Italian American Sports Hall of Fame in
yeah,
Chicago this week as well.
yeah.
For what? Being the third stringer and getting an opportunity?
For being Italian and winning a
Yeah,
couple of games and
yeah,
letting everybody do this for a little bit,
yeah.
and they had fun with it. And the
Mhm.
Saints mocked it today after a
Right.
sack. One of the defenders came up, and then you become a
It's
target like
great.
that. And
Yeah, you're a target.
yeah,
Exactly. If you're not good, don't make yourself a target. That's just how I believe, or the things that I believe. I hit a nice parlay on Derek Carr over 209 and a half passing yards. Alvin Kamara,
just hit
41
that
and a
too.
half. Right. I know. But then Saints money line as well. I took them 5.5. This to me is a situation like you said. Giants overblown hype. This is all a feel good. This is all a story when you boil down to the numbers, which is where those lines come from, I've watched enough Saints games to know that they get to the red zone and then they stall out, right? But
Yeah,
against a bad team like the Giants, that offense may not stall out. I saw 209 yards passing with Derek Carr. I was like, okay, he's got knocked out of, two out of the last three games, hasn't hit those stats. Maybe this is just a line here because these are in line with his stats that he's been putting up. So, kind of trying to go and take advantage of a situation where I think there was a lot of emotional betting, whether it be against the Saints because you hate the Saints and you don't think the Saints are very good, and Olave's out and Derek Carr gets hurt, or because you're on the Giants bandwagon and you believe in a third stringer who lives with his mom and dad. It's up to you. But I saw this one and I was like, I'm going to take the Saints. I think they're talented. They were clearly motivated on the defense to make sure that this
yeah.
kid, his sideshow was gone. And, it is what it is. I didn't expect them to win this big. And at halftime, it was not that big.
No,
But they came out, balled out in the second half and put down the Giants for what they actually are, which is, on to the next season,
yeah, and
basically.
and they shut down Saquon, which in
Right.
14
Killed me in
yards on 9
fantasy.
carries, 2
Killed me
catches.
in fantasy. I'm playing Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard outscoring
Uh,
Saquon in fantasy, and I'm beside myself. But that's what you get for drafting a bad team, Chris. Yeah,
Fantasy football is just with all these injuries and the randomness that's happening, and it's just too much. And you saw,
it's 50% luck, 60% luck.
yeah, luck,
The rest is the
draft,
draft.
couple waiver picks, and
Right.
that's it. And
That's pretty much
who's
it.
healthy now? Who's healthy right now and performing? That's if you made
Anywho,
it.
Saints win.
Yeah,
Move up on the Falcons. Wish I took my Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers are a scary team if they win this division. The Saints, maybe not, but I think the Buccaneers might be. But
I
again,
can't. I
look
haven't
down.
been able to put a finger on the Bucks all year. I've kind of stayed away. Uh, we didn't bet this game, but the stat I saw was crazy. Baker Mayfield becomes the first visiting QB ever with a perfect passer rating at Lambeau Field.
Yeah. Yep.
Who had that on the bingo card this week? If you did, you're lying.
I could have claimed that I did if I actually picked this game, but I didn't. But I'm a huge Baker Mayfield
You
guy.
are.
Give me the 4-minute offense with Baker Mayfield. As long as he's not planting the flag in Ohio Stadium, I'm happy with it. But I mean, he will throw you a pick or two because he's really not that physically gifted. But he's just got all the moxie and all the intangibles that you want in a quarterback. And that's why I trust him late in the game. Bowles, his head coach, sucks. So,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But he's got a great running game with Rashad White, and he's got two great receivers in Godwin and Evans when they decide to show up. So that's what I'm saying. Like this team is scary if they make the playoffs. But yeah, you're right. Who would have thought that Baker Mayfield could be installed into this offense that a 42-year-old man was running previously and be successful? So, who could have thought about it? Yeah, I would have never guessed.
I'm happy for Baker. I never not liked him. I think Cleveland should have kept him, and Cleveland would probably be in better shape than they are right now if they kept him.
I don't know.
You never know. Joe Flacco looks good, kind
Joe
of,
Flacco's elite.
kind of. Moving on. Chiefs 27, Patriots 17. Chiefs -8 gets you a win. I was very close to picking this game. This was fourth on my list, basically.
Right.
Um, but I decided to go with the Jets for some reason because I'm a stupid moron. Anyway, Chiefs 27, Patriots 17. This was kind of an easy one. I mean, it wasn't that much of a blowout. I mean,
No,
it
Zappy looked
was
good.
his happy looked okay. He had a really bad pick though.
Yeah.
That was a
It looked like he,
gross.
like, loaded up and just fired it to William Gay. Just,
Yeah.
like, literally was just like, "Oh, you want this? You want
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. There you go.
Boom, here you go," and just
Thanks.
fired it right to the other team. It was an impressive pass. It was on a rope, but it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
right
yeah,
to the
right,
wrong guy.
right to him. And
Right.
I the thing that kind of shied me away was the Patriots at home defense has been very good, and
Right.
Mahomes has not been great this year. I keep seeing this stat. He's been one of the worst QBs in the league under pressure. Um,
Whoa.
Travis Kelsey has not had a good year and didn't have a good game. Uh,
Yeah, I wonder
the
why.
the Chiefs, yeah, I wonder why too. The Chiefs had a terrible game running the ball, but Mahomes stepped up, got it done. Rashee Rice, I think he's found his receiver that he needs. Number one,
Yes.
Rashee Rice, 9 catches, 91 yards, a touchdown. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a big 48-yard catch. So they did enough to get it done. They
Hold
shut,
up. Did you see that catch that Allaire made for a touchdown?
yeah, yeah. That was the 48-yarder, right? 48-yard touchdown.
That was 48 yards? Okay, I don't know if it was. He climbed a ladder. I think it was a shorter
Oh,
touchdown than that.
no, the 48 I think the 48-yarder was not a touchdown. It was a big play, but the touchdown was he got air on that.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
He,
right.
like, jumped higher than he is tall. It
Yeah,
was impressive.
yeah, he's not really a tall dude, but he kinda got like a full body's length up in the air. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, I was walking by the TV and I was like, "Oh, who was that?
Yeah,
Oh, it was the backup running back now?"
yeah, yeah.
It
I
was
mean,
incredible. It
yeah,
was like he looked like a tight end over the middle, but just climbing a ladder because he's a tiny guy.
yeah. I I had I liked what I saw from Zeke last week, and I bought into the hype a little bit and had him as an anytime touchdown prop.
Heck yeah.
Um, didn't do it. Couldn't do anything. Kevin Harris got the rushing touchdown. Who?
Ooh,
Kevin
I don't
Harris.
know. He might do my taxes.
I think he does. I
Yeah,
think he
it's a
should.
pretty random dude.
Yeah, from South Carolina. Sixth round pick from South Carolina. I
No clue.
don't know.
And I usually know all those guys.
Yeah, I know you got the college guys,
But
but
yeah,
yeah,
this to me was kudos to the Patriots again. Close game for a little
yeah,
while here.
yeah. And it was
They're
only a
playing
10-point
people
game.
tough. Yeah, their defense
Their
is so good.
defenses.
Like, I would love to hire Bill Belichick as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
but yeah, no, they're credit to the Patriots because their team's not giving up like we saw some other teams do. And, they're playing pretty tough. But, you piss off Patrick Mahomes, and he's going to figure out how to one man show it. In my opinion, like, you see him yelling on the sideline, that's like an automatic. I'm going to pick him the next 2 weeks. Obviously, if they're playing a team like the Patriots, to me, it's easy. But, if they're playing even a big time game, I feel like it's, something that a guy with all the talent in the world, you put a little bit of an edge to him, give him a little bit of a, reason to fight, and he's going to fight. But I think you said it best when you said Kelsey has kind of not had the best year. And I mean, he's always been his like scramble guy and his little tool, his little toy whenever he gets outside of the pocket. But I guess maybe it's not Kelsey's fault. If Mahomes is actually not doing well under duress this season, Kelsey can't just go find those spots and he can hit them like they'd been doing. So yeah, the Chiefs need to figure some things out going into the playoffs. I think they'll make the playoffs and they'll be fine. But holy crap, if they need to figure out a couple of things at
Yeah.
least, because this was a little too close for comfort against a terrible team.
The thing I've been seeing with Kelsey is the drops, and I can look him up. I don't know if it's more than he usually has, but I've seen him drop way more than I usually see, and also he is going like down quick. He's protecting himself. I
Yeah.
think he's protecting himself, looking at himself and as an investment now, because he's a big shot now. I don't see him trying to. Usually he's a guy who's for the last how many years now is a guy that looks for contact, can break
Right.
tackles like a Gronk.
Tries to punish tacklers.
Not quite to the level that Gronk was at, but
Right.
he was not never this easy to take down. But he catches it, and if he's in space, he'll run. But like defenders coming, he's going right down. And I think he's dropped some balls because of that too. It just doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem to be clicking. So we'll see. We'll see where the Chiefs end up this year. But it was a good win against a bad team, and you went 2-1 this week. So congrats.
Woohoo!
I went 0-3, and my final loss: Bills 31, Cowboys 10. Take
Oh,
the
you went right for this one though.
I
Kudos to you.
the Cowboys underdogs. I guess it was a trap. I I don't know. Dak Prescott's supposed to be an MVP candidate. He looked like shit today. Um, Tony Pollard looked good, but only got 11 carries, 52 yards, 4.7 carry. Maybe give him the ball a little more. I don't know. I know they were down early, so that kind of
Right.
ruined
Game
that.
script.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say on this one. I don't know what the Bills are now at 8-6. Josh Allen had 94 yards for the year. Uh, James
Yeah.
Cook. James Cook is apparently the
Your
best running back in
boy.
football right now.
Your boy. Yeah. No, dude, there's not much to say other than this is the Cowboys being the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Like this isn't this
yeah,
isn't on you. Everything says that the Cowboys clicking coming into this game should be, incredible. There's no reason somebody should play better as much as they do on turf than they do on grass. There's no reason a team should play better so much more at home than they do on the road like the Cowboys do. There's no reason other than I think it's coaching, but it is what it is. You got a Bills team back against the wall. And like you said, Josh Allen doesn't need to perform, but he needs to make everybody else better. And I think that's what he did for James Cook there. And James Cook really just kind of took over. They went up early, and the Cowboys just looked anemic, man. Like, this is not their offense. This is not going to fly against the 49ers. This is not going to fly against the Eagles. And now you're in a situation where I think you're fighting for home field advantage even more so because you lost this game as well. And that doesn't bode well for this team because they clearly love to destroy people at home and then go into away stadiums with their tail between their legs. Doesn't make any sense to me.
yeah.
CeeDee Lamb still had a decent game. Dak was okay. Pollard was okay. They just didn't punch it in ever. They just did not punch it in ever, and that Cowboys defense just did not look good. I don't know if it was the pass rush or if it was the threat of mobility with Josh Allen, but they did not get after him enough. They did not make enough plays. They didn't make enough. They didn't get the ball back to the offense enough here. And this is just the Bills, I think, controlling more of the clock than anything throughout the game. And they really just kind of just bled the Cowboys out throughout this
Yeah.
entire game, I felt like.
It was
It was
over.
brutal.
It was over in by the second
The
quarter,
half.
midway through the second quarter. Even
21-3 at the half. Like
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Cowboys pack it in, shut it down. Let's head back to Texas. It's cold here. Like that's what it seemed like it was.
yeah. I think so. There were a good amount of blowouts. Two score. You consider a blowout a two-score win.
Yeah.
There were at least five of them. We had Saturday games. The Lions blew out the Broncos. That didn't shock me, but I mean that was 42-17. That's a big blowout. You obviously had the Thursday night game we talked about, but yeah, I don't know. Not everything to me made sense. There was just a lot of weird things going on. I don't know.
Dude, that's why I'm doing well in the picks.
Yeah,
because it doesn't make any
doesn't
sense.
make any sense.
It doesn't make
Yeah,
any sense.
yeah,
This week too, like I looked at numbers more than I ever do.
yeah,
Normally, I'm about the like the numbers are gonna speak for themselves. If you see a 3.5 spread, that team clearly is favored by the stats, right? What goes beyond that is, things like injuries and, what they need and what that coaching staff is preaching and what they're trying to do and what their streak is. But, the Cowboys laid into all the stereotypes here, losing on the road, losing on grass, just losing in the big moment. Like, honestly, this is what the Cowboys do. And maybe it's more of the same with them, but yeah, a lot of blowouts this week, and it wasn't fun. I don't like Saturday football when it comes to the pros. I feel like they just kind of throw everybody that they don't want on
yeah.
Saturday just to try to keep people engaged throughout the weekend. But I don't think any of those games were very good.
No, and it just I don't know. I feel like it throws the players' rhythm off. It throws my
Right.
rhythm off. I'm not on Saturday. I'm not looking to watch football all day. I that's what I want to do on Sunday. I don't want to, you know. And I didn't really. I watched the first game, placed a bet on that first game, and lost them all. And I was like, you know what? That's it for me. I'm gonna watch some Christmas
That's
movies
it
with
for
the
me.
fam, and that's it. Pull the Costanza. That's it. I'm out.
Holy Costanza. Say
Although I
one
didn't leave
one
on a
good
high
thing.
note. You're supposed to leave on a high note, so that was the problem.
This is
Did
true.
not
This
did
is
not do
true.
that. That was it for our picks. Um, one small thing I wanted to mention. Did you see the Bears Hail Mary at the end of the game?
No.
In Darnell Mooney's hands, he's on the ground, and this was a Hail Mary, like 50-plus-yard pass from Fields that goes into the whole group. It's tipped down. Mooney is falling. It's right in his chest, and then just pops out. I think it hits his leg, pops up into the defender's hands, and game over. So
Oh, no.
Bears fans, that was a rough one. Bears were looking good recently too, and they were
Yeah,
right
they
there
were.
in it with Cleveland. Cleveland needed this win, and Joe Flacco was slinging it again. 44 pass attempts, 374 yards. He had 3 picks, but
So while I did pick the Chargers to be impressive this year, I did also pick the Browns to be impressive this year. So 1-1. I'll take that.
yeah,
'Cause that
it's
boy, was I wrong on the Chargers. I think a lot of people were, but
yeah.
yeah, no, that sucks. That sucks. If there's one guy I want throwing a Hail Mary, though, I think it's Justin Fields.
He's
That dude
good,
could
man.
crank
I
it
mean,
downfield.
I feel like there's a lot of good quarterbacks that are kind of getting shunned, like and pushed away from some of their teams for no reason. Like I
Yeah.
take a Justin Fields. I don't know what the Cardinals are doing with Kyler Murray, but if they don't want him, I'll take him. Like there's guys that it's tough to find good quarterbacks. Those are good quarterbacks.
It's a lot of teams that I think they feel like those players hit their ceiling, and there's not much more that they can do with them in the organization, or they're looking towards the future because these guys were drafted with the last regime and these aren't their guys type of thing.
Right,
And
right.
there's a lot of talent out there. If you shuffle around some of these quarterbacks, holy crap, they could be really good on some of these other teams. Like you said,
Yeah.
Kyler Murray, don't think they want him there anymore. They're on their new GM, new coach. Justin Fields, same type of thing. Like, I don't get it, but it is what it is. That's why I don't run an NFL franchise. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, weird. I'll take anyone. I've been
probably
watching
should.
Zach Wilson, Trevor Simeon this year. Like I'm done.
There.
Well, let's do it. It's that time of week. We might as well get to it. Guy or dude?
I'm just a regular, everyday, normal guy. Nothing special about me. How do you do, dude?
He's a dude.
To move like that.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Chris, I know you're thinking about a couple people here.
Yeah.
Let's hop into it. Who's your guy or
Yeah.
dude candidates?
First off, I want to go back again to Thursday, and I don't think we've done him yet, but Mr. Antonio Pierce.
Oh,
He's running the Las Vegas Raiders, and boy, was he not ready to let up on the gas pedal.
I love that.
I'm curious, man. What do you think, guy or dude move?
The move, was a dude move. That's something Belichick.
Sure.
That's something Belichick would do. He never lets off the gas pedal. He's got they these all they're the winners are all about winning, and they may not be as in your face about it. They may not be beating people 63-21 or whatever that was, but I mean that's what winners do. You don't stop. You win. It's so hard. It's hard to win games in the NFL. It's hard to score touchdowns. Like you don't let up. If your offense is working, keep it working. That's the move that he made to just keep pushing is 100% a dude move.
That's a
I
dude move, but
yeah.
as
As
a head coach,
it's hard. It's early. He's coached how many games? 4? Uh,
maybe.
he seems to have the ear of the players. They seem to like him. You do see a lot of times with these player coaches, they get the quick early like boost. You win some games and then kind of tails off because you start to realize, oh, I don't actually know what I'm doing. I for right now, I can't call him a dude. Like he's it's a guy right now. Did a couple games, head coach. Look, he was a great linebacker for the Giants, the champion. He knows the game. He knows defense. He has, like I said, he's motivating his players. Right now, he's coaching like a dude. But for I can't give him that yet. He's right now. He's still just a guy among a sea of guys in coaching in the NFL. There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of guys coaching in the NFL, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of guys coaching in the NFL.
To
I'm
get
surprised
that,
though.
it takes a bit. Like if I'm looking at NFL coaches who are dudes, it's a short list, and he's got to do a lot more to get that.
I know he did D'Amico Ryans though, and I called him a guy. Did you call him a dude or did you agree with my guy?
I think I said guy for kind of the same reasons, or I might have said he looks like he could be a dude as a coach.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Because I
it's
said
tough to.
guy on D'Amico Ryans, and I'm gonna say dude on Antonio Pierce.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, I was watching post game interviews, one with Max Crosby, and one with Aiden O'Connell, and they gave him the credit like before anything. And usually they shout out teammates, team, opportunity, God, stuff like that. But it was all about AP. It was all about Antonio Pierce, and I don't know. There's something about him that I saw on the sidelines, and maybe he just smelled blood in the water. He looked like he was into it, whatever. But I think that he coached and called a pretty good game, and I think honestly, Aiden O'Connell is. I think he's a borderline dude right now. I'm pretty pumped about Aiden O'Connell.
We shit on him
Um,
earlier this year too. We
Oh,
were
yeah, we
asking
did.
what.
I lumped him in with all the backup
Yeah.
quarterbacks or whatever, but boy, man, did he I mean, Purdue product, cradle of quarterbacks, like he looked pretty darn good. But I'm going back to Antonio Pierce, like the way that he has the ear of the players. And like you said, that'll get you 1 win, that'll get you 2 wins, that'll get you something. We'll see where he goes from here. But the praise that Max Crosby had for him at least seemed like it was going to be enough to keep Max Crosby in the building when Max Crosby hits free agency. So I think he's a dude. Obviously, doing against the Chargers, who have given up, is not that big of a deal. But like at the end of the day, he was a linebacker. He was the quarterback of the defense, and those are the type of guys that end up having the smarts. It's like the catcher who becomes a manager
Right.
in MLB. I'm gonna go with Antonio Pierce rocking the Las Vegas Raiders to honestly a really good ending record, I think, and possibly winning over Mark Davis and earning maybe another year because it just seems like he's the one owner who's going to be like, yeah, players. Oh, I love players coach my team outside of Jim Irsay, who had Jeff Saturday do it for a little bit, but I think Mark Davis might be the only guy that lets this happen a little bit longer. But they look great.
Yeah.
They look great in all aspects of football on Thursday, and I think Antonio Pierce is a dude.
He looks good. He's earned another year, I'd say, unless one of these big names that could be out there becomes available. And when I say that, I mean, Bill Belichick, you never know. Even Mike Tomlin, there's whispers there in Pittsburgh, which is crazy.
It's
Um,
silly.
I
That's just
if
silly.
Mike Tomlin's let go and the Jets don't do everything they can to bring him in as a head coach, I don't know what. Not to completely change the topic here, but like
No.
If a coach like that is available, and you might have two, you might have Tomlin and Belichick out there, and Belichick ain't coming to the Jets. I get that, but um, you got these. There's teams that should be fawning over him if he's available. So, all right,
Yeah.
who else you got?
Who else I got? I'm gonna
I'm
go with
asking you.
somebody you mentioned before from the Chiefs game. Do the Kansas City Chiefs have wide receiver number one in Rashee Rice?
Yes.
Guy or dude, Rashee Rice. I know big shoes to fill or little shoes to fill, however you want to put it, with Tyreek leaving as the wide receiver one previously there. But what say you, guy or dude?
As a dude, I I in one of my leagues or in the league that I could grab him, I grabbed him back in like October. He was taken quickly in our league, in our our big league, but this he's you could tell early on he was the guy that was gonna separate himself, and it was just a matter of time before Kadarius Toney made mistake after mistake where he finally would get pretty much erased from the offense. He's got the speed. He's not that short. He's 6'1". So uh, off the top of my head, you think of a shorter, fast guy like Brandon Cooks. I could be wrong on his height. So he's 5'10". So yeah, I mean,
Cooks is small.
Rashee Rice is 6'1", and he's got a little bit of height. He's got the speed, and you look at the rest of the receiving core. He's got the hands compared to anyone else there. He's bet
MVS, yeah.
Yeah, Nicole. He's a better McCole Hardman already. He's got the speed, and Hardman has never really shown that he's you know got anything more than that. Um, I really like him. I He looked like the guy early on to climb up, and he has. And I think he's a dude. And if not a legit number one receiver, he's at least a legit number two deep threat who had 9 catches on 9 targets today, not just a deep threat. He looked really good. Second round pick. He That's a dude. I think they have a dude there, and I think he's only going to get better. What do you think?
Okay. I think he's a total guy. I think he's been forced into the offensive scheme. I like him definitely, but when you say wide receiver two, that just makes me cringe on him. I think this is Mahomes and Andy Reid knowing that they can make guys a little bit better than they actually would be on a market value or on a different team. I don't hate Rasheed Rice, but I think they just put together, I think to your point, a collection of guys, and we're hoping one would be a dude. Richie James, a Kadarius Toney, an MVS, a Mecole Hardman, a Rashee Rice, and they put them all together in a room, and they said, one of you needs to separate yourself from the pack. And to me, that doesn't mean that he's a dude. To me, that means he's just a guy outperforming the other guys. I didn't see him today in terms of like the way that he looked in route running or anything like that. He was clearly 9 for 9. But I've seen drops from him early on. I know he's a rookie. But I think it's whoever's in Mahomes' scheme and whoever is on the receiving end of what Pat Mahomes throws it's really what you're going to be in that offense. You're not going to carry that offense. You're not going to be the main focus of that offense as long as Kelsey's there. So I'm gonna go with Rashee Rice as a dude. Small college guy, SMU, second round pick. He's got good hands, he's got good speed, but I just don't think he's a game changer. I think it could be because he's filling some big shoes there with Tyreek leaving, but I think he's just a
He
guy in a collection of guys.
I mean, you're saying they're shoehorning him into the offense. He is catching almost all of his targets. I mean, 9 and 9 this week. 7 and 10, 8 and 9, 8 and 10, 4 or 5. Since they've really targeted him the past 5 weeks. If you look at catch rate in the NFL, I think these are up to date, but I'm out of sight. Catch rate, you typically, it's running backs, tight ends who have higher catch rates. Among wide receivers, Rashee Rice has the third highest catch rate in the league. He's
Ooh,
at a 78.7% rate. Obviously, guys who are targeted a
good job.
ton typically have lower ones, but for reference, Tyreek Hill has a 73.5% catch rate. So that's top tier right there, and he's above that. I
Yeah,
I'm liking what I'm seeing, and he's not dropping balls, and that's a huge asset to the Chiefs right now. So
for
I I
sure.
I think I think they have a dude.
Yeah, especially when it's off schedule and especially when the next best thing is dropping as many balls as you can
Yeah.
and lining up
Or
off
lining up off
sides.
sides or
Yeah.
fumbling it right to the other team.
It's fair enough. I just think in a vacuum, yeah. In the Kansas City world, sure. He's a dude. He's a total dude. Let's rely on him going forward. But we'll see. Let's see. Can he shoulder the load of that receiving core with Kelsey not being the way that Kelsey has been? And we'll see. We'll see how deep their playoff run is. But I just don't think this is a Super Bowl Chiefs team. And I think it's because you're missing a top flight wide receiver.
Yeah, I agree, but I think Rice could be that guy. Who else you got? You got one more?
We done Jalen Brunson.
We haven't, but I mean, there's no real argument there. He's very obviously a dude. So I
All
mean,
right. I'm
all
gonna
right.
turn. I'm gonna go. All right. Well, I'll save him for another. He just dropped 50, so I'll save him for another time. We talked about him earlier again. Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray. I think again, you put him in that category of teams that are moving on from guys that anybody else would really probably like. Kyler Murray, I think, coming out of college, he was the number one overall pick. He was, I think, a first round draft pick in baseball too. But he's a tiny dude. He's a tiny little guy running around there, and I don't know how I feel about him because I don't know how to evaluate him with the teams that he's been on so far. But I think he could be a really talented guy elsewhere. I just don't know that he is an NFL, a top flight NFL quarterback. But I'm curious to hear what you have to say. Kyler
Well,
Murray.
what's your
I
verdict
think
first?
okay, so yeah, I'll keep going along this line. I think he's got all the talent in the world, and like we said, he was a number one prospect. He was a number one quarterback. He was a Heisman Trophy contender. He was everything that was supposed to be going into the NFL. Links up with Kingsbury in Arizona, who said, "By golly," when he was at Texas Tech as the head coach, "if there's anybody in this world that I would love to coach, it's Kyler Murray." Drafts him. How did that work out? Not the best. So I'm along the mindset of Kyler Murray is a really, 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 really talented player. But I really do think that at the end of the day, there is something that is to be said for the size of guys going into the NFL. And if you can't see over your linemen and you have to run around and you have to make these plays on the run, you better be darn good at it. And you better be willing to take some serious hits. I don't think that where he's at right now with Arizona, he's a dude. But I will say, you plug him into Miami's offense, man, do you got yourself a dude, right? So like I don't know really what to think about him, and that's why I was kind of curious about you if you would like him as your quarterback or whatnot. I think he should have stayed playing baseball based on being 5'9", playing second base in baseball. You're already the smallest guy in baseball. Do you really want to be the smallest guy on the football field? And are you really going to be effective as the smallest guy on the football field? So I don't know. I don't think he's bright either. No offense to him. But I just don't think that he is an NFL quarterback or one that's going to lead a franchise to deep playoff runs over and over consistently. So I'm going to go with Kyler Murray as a guy.
See, that's fair. But you go over all the tropes. He's short. There's the video game things. You don't know how dedicated he is. Not the brightest bulb, whatever. But the way I look at it, what I've seen from him already, and from what I've seen from quarterbacks, like I would take Kyler Murray as my quarterback in an absolute heartbeat. And I wouldn't, we've talked about the quarterback line, and he's for me like very clearly above Derek Carr. I think he's at a Dak level. Right now, he's throwing to nobody. Marquise Brown was out. He's got a rookie Michael Wilson who he wasn't able to connect with today. I think Rondell Moore has been hurt too, or it just hasn't really been part of the offense. And even if he is, I mean, it's Rondell Moore. You don't you do not have a top flight receiver there. Connor is a good running back, but against the Niners, you're it's going to be tough sledding. And he didn't look great today, but he doesn't have a top. He doesn't even have a wide receiver too, if you ask me. He's looking good with Trey McBride, and Trey McBride looks really good, but you need more than
Yeah, you
that.
got a few shares of Trey McBride,
Uh,
right?
yeah, one league that's dead anyway, but wish I had
Oh,
more. But what can you do? But Kyler, Kyler Murray's absolutely a dude. I get he's short, but you don't get picked first overall if you don't have the ability and you know the pedigree, as you would say. Um, that's to me, that's a dude that I would take in a heartbeat. Maybe I'm wrong about it. Maybe it wouldn't work out, and with the Jets, probably wouldn't work out. But 100% for me, he is right now in that quarterback world above that line, and he's a dude.
all right, fair enough. I'm surprised, but yeah, no, I get it. It's just not fun to watch right now.
No, but I mean the Cardinals
Ugh,
aren't fun to watch right now. The
but
season's been
James
over
Conner's
with
fun
them.
to watch.
Yeah, James Conner's great. McBride's look good. There's some things there, but the defense is terrible. They're not keeping you in any games. There's no number one wide receiver. They you need some help. So Cardinals have a decision to make. Are they committed to him, or because they're going to have a top pick, they're going to have a shot at one of these quarterbacks. I don't know if Murray is available and the Jets can get him. I would snag him up. I don't. I'm over the Rodgers thing next year. I'm over everything. Just I don't even, I don't even care anymore. Anyway,
Over the Rodgers thing.
I'm
Oh
over.
man, look at Clay Thompson coming back from an Achilles. Does he look like Clay Thompson?
No, he
Not
doesn't.
so
No.
much.
Yeah. So well, that was Guy or Dude, and now it's that time for the good, bad, and the shitty.
Yes.
Chris, start us off. Who's your good?
Oh, dude, you don't even want to know.
Oh,
You
I
don't
want to
even
know.
want to know.
No, I want to
Who do
know.
you? Who's the best quarterback in the NFL right now?
Zach
This is a
Wilson.
completely loaded question.
That is a very loaded question. I mean,
Because
for all
if you
intents
don't
and
answer the way
purposes.
I want you to answer, it's going to be wrong. It's Joe Flacco. Joe
Okay.
Flacco fucking rules. Let's go. Joe Flacco is back to being elite. There is no conversation
Sounds
anymore.
bad.
There was a question when he was with the Ravens. There was a question. He is no longer, there's no question. Joe Flacco is elite. Amari Cooper. Did you see Amari Cooper's stat line today? Amari
4 for
Cooper
109.
is he is buying Christmas gifts for Joe Flacco because he's so freaking pumped. Joe Flacco is going to take this very, very average offense without Nick Chubb and put it in the playoffs with an elite defense. And I am excited to see how far that they go because the guy's still got a cannon. And I think he can still run an offense, and people still have respect for him and the things that he's done in his NFL career to want to play with him. You know, there's a lot to be said for, wanting to play for your quarterback. Like, Deshaun Watson, some questionable things that have happened in his past. We talked about the Thursday game at nauseum. Mr. Stick. Ah, do I really want to
Wasting
run that
stick.
offense with that guy? No, absolutely not. Flacco still has a little bit of clout, and the offense is set up for him to really just plug and play and be in there and play pretty well. And Joku's been incredible with him in. Cooper's been incredible with him in. And they've got running backs that are picking up the slack from where Nick Chubb left off. And I think they look damn good. And I'm excited to see Joe Flacco make a playoff run because he was even talking about how his kids now are older and they're like, "Yeah, can you give me a Miles Garrett autograph or something like that?" And they don't even care about what their dad's doing. But yeah, I get the ultimate off the couch into the playoffs moment. Joe Flacco, I'm all about it. He's my good.
I'm
Who's
very
yours?
happy for Joe Flacco. He's slinging it. 44 attempts.
300 yards today.
Yeah, 3 picks also. He was
Wait,
sacked
how?
four
He's
times.
44.
No, he threw 44
Oh,
times, 44 attempts.
it's like I don't
He's
think so.
no, he's not that old. He's 38, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's 38. That's a
but
young
still,
man, young gentleman.
Flacco's got that clout. Is Joe Flacco elite?
Yes, he's always been elite. He's always been elite,
He's
Joe
always been
Flacco.
elite. He's a
I
hundred
have
million
to,
man,
I
$100
have
million
to,
man.
I have to make the decision of whether or not I'm putting my fantasy championship hopes in Joe Flacco's hands next week.
You should.
So
You should. He'll
it's him
just
or
comfort you the
it's him or
entire way.
Stafford. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be comfortable. That's for sure.
Yeah.
My good, the man you mentioned briefly before, Jalen Brunson. Wow, 50 points. That doesn't happen to anyone, to everyone. I mean, that's a superstar performance. I'm an all-star. I'm a top point guard in the league. He single-handedly beat the Suns that night. The Suns were trying to pull away, and he just kept coming down the court saying, "Nope, nope." 9 for 9 from 3.
Yeah. I saw that.
Also 6 rebounds, 9 assists, 5 steals. He was doing everything. That's one of the best stat lines you'll see in the NBA this year. Uh, he's so good. I'm just there's something they're missing Mitchell Robinson. There's something missing. I really think they have to move on from Randall uh, and use him to get a superstar that is a better fit here.
Gotcha.
I just think that that's the thing. You need to get a superstar to pair with Brunson. You know, if RJ has to go, that is what it is. You'll have some pieces still. You need some forward depth as well. They don't really have that. They just signed Taj Gibson back, so but Jalen Brunson, they have their superstar, and he's here for a while and here to stay. And you can win with him. I don't. I'm worried about the mix with Randall. Look, if it meshes, great. You know they're doing fine. They're in the playoffs right now, but I don't know. I'm just a little worried. But Jalen,
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I can agree with you on this here. He's definitely good. He's taken the Knicks to a different level. He was the leader of the Villanova team, which was widely regarded as one of the best college basketball teams that have ever danced through the tournament. So, I mean, he's found a home here. It'd be interesting to see if you could swing a trade for Randall because I imagine he's a bargain when you're talking stars. When you're talking pricing in the NFL, I imagine he's a bargain.
NBA.
The Knicks just would have to be willing to take on a lot more salary, and who knows if James Dolan's getting his ROI from his sphere yet, if
Yeah.
he's willing to do that. But
Yeah, and it depends on
yeah,
who the superstar is. I mean, there's not a ton of guys that you can unequivocally say are better than Julius Randle in the league that are worth acquiring. I mean,
no,
I don't think it's a Zach Levine. I don't think he's a difference maker there. Even though the Bulls seem to want him gone now, I I don't know who it
I
is.
thought it was going to be Jalen Brown in the offseason, but
Yeah, maybe the Embiid stuff. It doesn't seem like he's going anywhere. At least not right now. Um, Mar DeRozan, maybe. There's no superstar out there that it's like obvious. Like, let's go and get him right now. So we'll
well,
see.
Durant goes wherever the championships go, so maybe you can grab him. Bargain guy would be a little Gordon Hayward. He's on my fantasy team now. A
I'm
little
talking superstars. Like you need superstars, not bargaining guys. They got enough of those. They got enough of those.
yeah, Brunson looks legit, man, and to score 50
It's
in the
great.
Garden,
It's special.
it's the world's most famous arena, right?
Yeah. It was the one bet I won. One nice little parlay that night.
Nice. Well done.
I think I went 1 for 25 on bets this weekend. It was two for 20.
Oh, well,
Raheem
don't tell
Mostert
the people
anytime
that.
touchdown. Hey,
There you
it
go.
is what it is. Yeah, not perfect. You have those weeks. I've had a good season, but now I went over 3 this week, and now I'm under 500, and I don't want to be under 500. I want to be at least at that
It's
level.
one of those commercials.
But
Don't chase them.
yeah, you
Don't
don't
chase
chase
'em.
your losses. I was chasing. I was running everywhere this weekend.
I chase them all the time. I'm
You
down the
gotta,
street, around the
you
corner,
got,
in the other neighborhood. I'm chasing them
you
everywhere.
gotta chase them. Is your refrigerator
Yeah.
running? You gotta go
Chase
catch
what
it.
matters. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
Chase Budinger, baby, superstar.
Chase Pottinger
Gotta
too.
bank. You gotta bank with
Wow,
Chase.
we went down a chase hole right
Chase,
there.
Chase going. Chase Paw
Wow.
Patrol too. A lot
Why
of chases, a lot of great
Paw
ones.
Patrol's on a roll,
Paw
so
Patrol's on the roll. All right, let's
why don't you
keep it
keep us
going
going with your
here.
bad? You do your bad. You keep going.
My bad. Uh, the I almost fought with myself for putting this as a bad because I don't really hate it, but the contract manipulation that the Dodgers pulled with this deferred money, $680 million out of 700 million deferred 10 years down the road. He's making Shohei Ohtani is going to be making 2 million a year. I love it by Ohtani. It's a he knows he's making plenty of endorsements and he knows he's going to get that money eventually. He's setting himself up fine. So it's not on Ohtani. It's just kind of a spirit of the game kind of weird thing that I don't like. But maybe that's just me worrying now because the Yankees need Yamamoto, and I think the Dodgers now have that money to spend on him too. So if he wants to go there, he can. It was surprising because you're supposed to if you spend $700 million on a guy, you're supposed to feel that it's supposed to affect you, like affect your franchise in some way. Like I get, look, I'm a Yankee fan. I get, I'm complaining about payroll and spending. I'm not. It's just it was weird, and I'm not 100% in. I'm not Chris Russo here. I'm not saying it's a disgrace to the game that you know uh, Manfred should unratify it or whatever. Like I'm not saying any of that shit because I don't agree with that. But it was just weird. And it's in the CBA, deferred money. There's an article in there that says, there is no limit to deferred money. So it's well within their right. But we used to make fun of teams for doing this. Bobby Bonilla Day, Chris Davis, the Orioles are going to be paying him for years. Now, maybe in 10 years, if the Dodgers don't get a World Series out of this and doesn't really work out with Ohtani, and then they're going to be paying him a load of money when he's gone, maybe they'll be feeling it then. And, they have to pay it eventually, but I didn't love it. That's all I'll say.
You do know the Orioles are still paying Bobby Bonilla as well. They're paying him just a little bit less than what the Mets are paying.
Yeah,
Bobby
Bobby.
Bonilla did this to multiple teams.
Yeah,
So the Orioles are still paying like $250,000 a year to Bobby Bonilla.
he's a smart man.
So it's not just on the Mets.
Yeah.
But what I will say here, and I have to, because the first thing that Cheshire Cat smile came across my lips was, didn't Aaron Rodgers do this for you?
No, I was. This was 2 years, and he didn't defer it a little bit, but like he's still high on the payroll. He's not making $2 million. Like, look, and
Okay.
I like the deferred money
Okay.
thing. I like it. And
Okay.
again, I'm kind of battling myself here because I sound like a Chris Russo, and I don't
Mhm.
necessarily fully agree. But
Aaron Rodgers did
didn't
this for
love
you.
it.
Okay, that's point number one for me, right? Point
Nothing to
number
say
two
for it.
is I don't blame the Dodgers here. I blame Shohei. I'm sorry. Think about the future value of money. Was $1 million
I get
in
it.
1970 $1 million what it is today? Absolutely not. You're going to defer money for 10 years in an economy like this in America where you're not going to end up with probably the amount of money that you should have. Money today is way more valuable than
Of
money
course,
tomorrow.
of course.
It always is, no matter what. That's why you take the lump sum in the lottery, you don't take the annuity. He set himself up with an annuity here, essentially. And what's going to happen, and I can see it happening, is if he has an egregious and horrible injury in the next 3 years, the beginning half of the contract, the Dodgers can sue him to void some of the contract, maybe expedite some of the money back, but get rid of some of the back end there. I don't know. That's hypothetical, but I think it's kind of crappy on Shohei to, it's awesome to field the team and everything, but like kick the can 10 years down the road, you
It's
have no
crazy.
idea you're living that long, first off.
Yeah.
And the future value of money is less than what the present day value of money is every single time. So I think it's just a silly contract on Shohei. Of course, the guy wants to win, though. So I get it.
Yeah.
It was both sides speaking the same language, it seems like. So it is what it is. I think he'll be doing just fine, like you said, on his endorsements, but
Yeah.
you
And
know,
look, I don't think this is going to be an epidemic.
it's an
Like, you're not going to.
unsalary cap sport, man. It is what
Yeah.
it is.
No,
I've been dealing with it for years. All this bullshit.
I know. I know.
All this bullshit has been
I know,
happening for
bud.
years. My
I know.
entire childhood
Your owner
has
doesn't
has been
spend any
shit on
money
by
on their
giant
team.
Yankee contracts
Yeah.
with stupid clauses in, stupid opt-outs, stupid player options, whatever. Get used to it, buddy. This is
Go
just what
sign
it is.
someone. When's your owner going to
What?
sign somebody?
What?
What are you guys doing over there? You going to try to build on
We don't
winning the
have any
division,
money.
or with
We got no
what do
money.
you
We
know?
signed Craig Kimbrell.
Yeah. You got no money. What are the Orioles worth? Billions? Come on.
No, what they're trying to do is they've been reaching out to Gunner and Adley to try to get extensions. That's what apparently Scott Boras.
That's the smart thing to do.
is saying like he has to like not field calls from them regularly because that's what Elias is trying to do is lock those guys up along with Jackson Holiday, who's also a Boris Klein as well. So
That
doesn't
is a
bode
smart
well
thing.
for us because those guys always hit free agency. But if we can offer, a deal like a Brandon Lau deal or like a, Wander Franco deal to Gunner. It's 180 million,
I'm gonna
200
say that
million
name anymore.
max, 10 years. Yeah, but he's the guy that you invest in. Wander's a little, he obviously never mind. I'm not going to say
Yeah,
anything about Wander. He's a
let's
piece
just
of
not
shit.
talk about let's just not talk about
But
Wonder
Gunner's
Franco.
the first to the ballpark every day, kind of doesn't care about his social life type of guy. That's the type of guy, kind of like Julio Rodriguez, you want to invest in, and I hope that they're able to do that. But yeah, we need to sign a fucking pitcher, and yeah, we need to make some moves. But yeah,
Yeah, you do.
anyhow,
All right, go on. Who's your bad?
my bad is uh my bad is going back to Thursday, though. Basically, the Chargers giving up. The product on the field of professional football did not look like professional football on Thursday. It's my bad because I have a better one to put in my shitty. But ultimately, I turned off an NFL game. And it wasn't because the other team was winning. It wasn't because of anything. It was because it didn't look like an NFL game. It looked like a high school football game. It looked terrible. And there were so many points where they were zooming in on Brandon Staley, and he's pacing around the sideline more than he needs to. He's going out to see his injured player. They've got a sideline report with him. It was painful. It was just literally painful. But more so, my point is on the players. The poor kid Easton Stick goes out there for his pro debut, and by God, did nobody give a shit. Like they did not care at all. So it was a pretty rough thing to watch, and ultimately that can't be the product that goes out onto the field. If teams are getting eliminated, there's got to be some way to not have this happen. It was not good. I assume that the ratings were down in the second half substantially. I assume people didn't want to watch it, but it's been a narrative for the Chargers all year. And Antonio Pierce, as much as I called him a dude before, he's not that much of a dude to come out and drop 63 points. So my bad is the Chargers and their squad because they've got Khalil Mack, they've got Joey Bosa, they've got Justin Herbert, obviously some injuries and everything, but you have some talented players who can go out and do a little bit better than that.
Bye bye, Brandon Staley. He's gone.
How quick do you think that conversation was?
That was one of those.
I don't even think they spoke. He called him in an email, sat down, they like looked at each other,
You go.
and then he probably just walked the fuck out.
Yeah. So like a Curb Your Enthusiasm scenario. Saying, yeah, I think you know. I think you
I
know.
think you know. I think we're speaking the same. You're picking
Yeah.
up what I'm putting down.
Yeah. Well, I was happy that my prediction of the Chargers not making the playoffs. I think I had them not making the playoffs. I had them definitely not winning the division.
Yeah.
That worked out well for me. So Brandon Staley, you stink. All right. Yeah, that was your bad. I'll keep us going. My shitty, Draymond Green.
Damn it, that's my shitty.
Oh, I'm sorry. I took it from
It's
you.
okay.
Draymond, I choked it right out of you.
You
Draymond
did.
is just a real piece of shit. I
He's
mean,
a real POS.
you're just starting to just punch guys now, and you're trying to act like you didn't do it. I mean, it was the most blatant thing I've ever seen on the court,
Yeah.
and the guy's been doing this for a long time. He's taking it to another level now that he's losing, you know, physical abilities, talent.
Yeah, he's just a frustrated old man.
Yes, that's it. Even though he's 2 years younger than us, but yes, he is a frustrated old fart who is just. I mean, he's suspended indefinitely. They don't know when they're gonna let him back. Put him in counseling, and it's essentially like in his mind, I'm just playing hard. This is how I play. But no, this isn't how you've played all these years. You're starting to take it to a level where you're just assaulting guys, and it sounded
Yeah.
like the feeling around the league was it's about time on this. I think guys are tired of it, and hey, he's a piece of shit. He's the shitty of the week. Sorry I took that from
Clearly.
you, but who
It's okay.
you have?
I couldn't have said it better myself. Well done.
No, thank you, thank you. It's all
I couldn't unsee it, man. He's swinging an arm around and trying to act like, I mean, that's a flop, but an offensive flop,
Yeah.
not a defensive flop. It was terrible. So, I did not like the Warriors. I don't like Draymond Green, and I think good on Adam Silver for setting a precedent here
Yeah.
because it's not going to be tolerated.
Yeah. All right. It's GBS. We talked our bets. You got anything else for us, real quick?
No, man, send us out.
Everybody, thank you so much. We're gonna try to get one more episode out for the holidays. Maybe we'll talk about it. We'll see. But follow us at the Sports Clash everywhere. Watch us on YouTube, Spotify. Follow us TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Instagram. Thank you all for the support. We appreciate you listening, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.